Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Production Inside. My name is Tony Bass, and today we're gonna look into how to get a sound similar to Martin Garrix and Brooks' track Byte. I prepared this little project for you guys. It sounds like this. This particular track consists of 5 stems. The first one is my kick drum, the second one are my claps and my hi-hat loop, and then the fourth and the fifth one, obviously the most important ones, are my lead sound and my bass sound. And this is really the Brooks kind of signature bass and lead sound. So this is what we're gonna dive into. First of all, I want to give you some advice on your kick drum. My kick drum, and this is also not the way to do it, this is my way to how to create this particular sound. So the kick drum, you want to make sure your kick drum is really short and really snappy. I use these two drums. This is obviously the high one. It has a low cut till around 300, and this really gives the click on the kick. And this one has the lower thump kind of sound. Afterwards, I compressed them both together with the waves CLA2A, just to give it some more snap and more punch. And after that, I took out the low frequencies till up about 50 Hertz, because that's where your bass frequencies are going to be. So you really want to make some space to get that bass out of there. Also, afterwards, I put a sausage feather on here. It's not even doing anything. I think it's on 1%. Just to gel these two sounds together and give that nice kick drum. Then my clap is basically a couple of claps layered. You can choose any clap you want, that's your own decision. And my hi-hat loop. So all together. There you have it. So moving on to the lead sound. For this particular sound, I used 5 different plugins, 3 spires, a serum and a silent. I layered them together to create this big saw sound. The first one sounds like this. It's a really big saw sound with a lot of reverb, obviously. The second one, my spire. Really, it sounds really crappy on itself, but if you layer them together, you will get a different sound, and it will sound really awesome. This one, notice that it doesn't have any reverb at all, so it will really pop out into your mix. It will really come to the front. The third one is also a spire, just another saw. The other spire is also a saw with a lot of reverb. And the last one is a silent, and this is basically the Cashmere silent pack. Also interesting to tell is that I used different octaves for different sounds. I started from G4 at this particular saw synth, as well as this one. Oh no, sorry, this is G3. So it really gives it another edge. So moving on to grouping the synths. I used an equalizer on this group at first. I took out some of the low frequencies, still up about 300 Hertz. And then this plugin is really cool. It's a multi-band compressor from Xfer. It's actually free, so you can download it from the Xfer website, I think. And just notice what happens if I turn this off. And then when you turn up the depth, it really gels your synth together, and it really gives it a spot into the mix. So you don't want to overdo this, because then it will have a lot of suction compression, and you don't want that. So just turn it back till where you're satisfied with the sound. And then another trick that Brooks and Martin Garrix did in their track, they used a reverb on the synth and on the blanks in the melody. They automated it to give this really big suction effect. And I think in the original track they also used some kind of FX sound, some white noise or something like that to put on top of it, just to create an even bigger suction sound. And this is really cool. You can do this on basically all your sounds. I think me and my friend Jordi also did it on our bubblegum track. Like if you have a melody and at some point it stops for a while, you can automate the reverb to really like blend it into the mix and really give a really cool effect. It makes it less static, your melody. So that's as far as our lead concerned. Now moving on to the bass sound. The bass sound sounds like this. And this is made of two synthesizers. The first one is a silent, and this is actually just a future bounce, a basic future bounce bass. I'm not gonna get too much into this. If you want to copy the settings, here are the settings, but I think most preset packs already have this bass. It sounds like this. Only things that are going on here, I pitched it down 1 octave. I took out some of the low mid frequencies to make some room for the kick, like the punch of the kick. And I used an R bass to give it some more, around 90 Hertz, just to add some little bit more warmth in the bass, and a volume shaper as well to take out like the low end, to make sure it's not conflicting with your kick drum. And so the second part of our bass line is the most important part. This is the really signature Brooks kind of sound, and it sounds like this. So I'm gonna create this sound from scratch right now, so you have an idea how to do it. First we're gonna put on a MIDI track and insert a serum. Copy these melodies in there. So for this sound I chose the Jaws wavetable, the Dagger wavetable, and I turned it down 3 octaves. For the second oscillator I chose just an analog basic shape sine wave. Turn down the level because we want to do a frequency modulation from oscillator 1. You get this kind of effect. Also you can put it on mono here. There you go. We're gonna put the first envelope, the whole till up about 190, the decay till about 900, and the sustain to 0. Then for our second envelope we're gonna put this on our filter and do just a low 12, turn up the drive a little bit and put this till about here and create a little shark fin for this envelope. Go. And then for our third envelope we're going to put this on the chorus pitch on both oscillators, and you want to make sure that this little arrow in the matrix, the type arrow, is pointing to the right. And then we're going to put the sustain till about 3%, maybe 2 somewhere, and the decay till about 6 milliseconds. And this chorus pitch modulation, we're going to turn it up to about 52, 54. And you get this kind of effect. just to give it a really step kind of effect. Then to our FX, first I use the phaser and turn down the mix a little bit. Then compress it a little. Turn up the gain a bit. And then a distortion. We're going to turn this up till about 1200 Hertz and use a hard clip effect. Till up about here. Also, we can put this blend. We can use three voices actually. There you go, there's your sound. And now to get that Brooks kind of sound, you want to add some FX. I used over here I used a little low cut and some scoop of the mid frequencies just to give the high end some more space. And I use this isotope thrash on top. You should really use this plugin, it's really handy. Just choose a thrash filter. From scratch, just initialize patch, use a kind of filter that you like, maybe a distortion. Excuse me, that's a bit much. There you go, and then use the convolve option. Gives a really cool effect. This one, and that's really giving that future house kind of sound. Afterwards, this is my chain. I used a couple of multi-band compressions and some equalizers. Also my isotope thrash was in the middle. Now you can play around with your filter settings and get it into the mix and mix it down just the way you like it. Alright, there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comments, and thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to stay up to date about everything concerning production inside. My name is Sonny Bass, and I will see you next time. Peace out.